Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity. I've hosted both Sanjeev Sanyal sir and Dr. Raghuram Rajan on the show, and I respect both of them. I don't know enough about economics to be able to gauge who's saying the truth or whose theories actually make more sense. Have you by any chance watched either or both of those episodes?
In terms of, I know what they say. In terms of, I know, in terms of, I know roughly what the case is. And I said that they come from very different viewpoints in terms of that. I think that the key for the government or for the prime minister is how do you separate the message from any ulterior motives? Because anybody coming from the government is on a public, I hate to say it, is never going to be able to tell you objectively what's going on because they just can't. I know it. Even when I meet politicians and stuff, what they say on the record and off the record is so different.
Can we speak a little bit about Dr. Raghuram Rajan?
Mm-hmm.
He's been on the show. I remember when I was in college, like 10 years ago, his name was so highly regarded in every single circle that you went. You interact with anyone, irrespective of their political opinions. He was one guy who was loved and respected.
Right.
Cut to 2024, and I think that people view him with a political lens.
Yeah.
The pro-BJP listeners, viewers, people just assume that he's an agent of America and he's an agent of the Congress and will always speak anti-BJP. And people who are anti-BJP view him as a messiah. So I loved interacting with him, honestly. He did kind of openly say that, I think the crux of what he said was that this whole angle about going after manufacturing should not be the way the current government should look at themselves. In fact, our strength as Indians is that we run service-based businesses and we should fuel that sector much more. Sanjeev Sanyal on the other end, who is effectively working with the government, therefore will carry forward the word of what the BJP government is currently thinking. He says that no, we need to get out of the way of businesses. And secondly, he says that the focus is on manufacturing. I don't know who to listen to or who's right. And I also know that there's an art of economics at play. Therefore, I'm trying to understand what the best way forward is. And my best way forward is you, good sir. So tell me what's best for them.
Yeah, but they're defining the debate the way they want to, which is fine, right? Which is what they want. My big thing about to this government has been, I mean, in terms of, if I've objected to anything in terms of that, what do I want to see? I want to see, I agree with the broad sentiment that the government needs to keep its involvement in business to a minimum. Rather than directing this or directing that and all that.
Sure.
I fundamentally believe that the government needs to do that. And my, as I've said so even in the past, I'll say it here again, that one of my big criticisms has been that if you give too much power to the investigative agencies, the term they use iced, as you must have heard of, which is income tax, in terms of CBI, Enforcement Directorate, if you give them too much power, you may be doing it from a political perspective that, I want to clean it up or I want to target some leaders and stuff, right? That's what you're doing. Once they have that power, there's a tendency to abuse that and to go after and use it against businesses the way they want to. And therefore, a lot of businesses feel threatened. And many business people want to leave India or set up things abroad, which is not good for the country.
Yeah.
So I'd say that for me, that is something which I'd like the government to really rein in. That is not something which they should be doing.
I've heard too many of my friends from the world of business voice this sentiment of wanting to live abroad or set up their stuff abroad. And these are people, again, who never say it publicly.
Yes.
But they'll all say it behind cameras. That
Exactly.
Set up your business abroad and ideally move abroad.
Yes.
This is what's discomforting for me.
Yes.
I'm just trying to relay objective truth and objective opinion.
Yes.
I don't have a strong political opinion myself.
Yes.
Can we break down this angle from both the government side as well as the business owner side?
The government will tell you we're cleaning out corruption. We're trying to make a cleaner system here. We're trying to do that. I'm trying to tell you that in terms of that, the problem is not so much the system, it's the rules and regulations you have in place. And giving any government authorities so much power is never a good idea.
Sure.
That is against the concept of giving businesses like the freedom and for the government to stay out. So I'm very clearly in terms of that this has gone too far. Of course, you want you don't want unchecked corruption of the kind we had in the 2010s and stuff like that, where everybody could, bribe their way, get a license for this, get a license for that. That's unchecked corruption. That's not good. But here, where it is like the evidence is so clear, which is that it's being done from a political perspective, that if people cross over to a particular party or something like that, then all of a sudden that person becomes clean and stuff like that, which I think is there to be seen. It's not for me to infer anything. It's there to be seen. I think that needs to be checked because that's hurting private business confidence. That is why, if you notice that the business investment, despite all the talk in India, and the consumer is doing very well, and you see the boom out here, but for some reason, both foreign investment in India and even domestic business investment has been much slower to pick up. This is data talking now. This is not me talking. Data will show you this in terms of, whether it's foreign portfolio investment, foreign direct investment as a share of the economy. It's got to do with domestic business investment. All that hasn't picked up as much as I'd like it to pick up. In fact, some of it is even trending down. And there are reasons for that. One of the reasons is this, which is that if people are going to be scared, then they may not invest so much in the country and look to instead move investment abroad. That's one of the risks. And I think that this government, in a third term, if it has a third term, then needs to address that issue in its own self-interest, in the country's interest.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.